Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. The celebration of the life and legacy of Aretha Franklin is continuing at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. A new exhibit titled Think, a tribute to the Queen of Soul, just opened, and it's going to run through January 21st of next year. The display includes photos and videos from Aretha's career, along with the red shoes and a replica of the red dress she wore during the public viewing at the museum following her death in August. Items in the exhibit are going to be rotated over the 4-month run. Joining me now is George Hamilton. He's the Wright Museum's interim COO. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you, Stephen. Great to be with you.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this for a couple reasons. One is I'm a huge fan of Aretha Franklin and her music, and I have been wondering, sometimes out loud around town, about the different ways I think the city and the city's people will try to commemorate her now that she's gone. I keep seeing things cropping up here and there, and I imagine that this is just the beginning. But this exhibit at the Wright seems like the first, I guess, I would say the first major exhibit that really takes a look at her life and her work and her legacy.
Yeah, we began working on this exhibit and the whole idea around the exhibit very shortly after the family reached out to us to be the place to hold the public viewing shortly after her passing. And the family expressed to us that they had a desire to have some type of expression of her life, her history, and that's really what started the whole conversation.
Yeah.
And we were able to very quickly move to this exhibit roughly 3 weeks after the public viewing.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's really fast that you got all this together.
Yeah, normally in the museum world, we have 6 months to a year to really plan these things out. But I think because of the time pressures that we were working under, it caused us to take a little bit different approach. So we started to reflect on the public viewing. We had in 2 days over 31,000 people who came through the museum and thousands who were on the grounds of the museum. But it allowed us to reflect on that whole experience. And we saw people who were really grieving, to people who were celebrating her memory through singing and dancing. And I think what struck both me and the family is that the emotional attachment to Aretha and her music, whether you knew her in person or whether it was just through her music. And so as we moved to open the exhibit, which just opened on Tuesday, we really designed it to connect with the visitors' emotions and to give them an opportunity to really linger and reflect on what she means and what she meant to them.
Yeah. Are there things that people, even big fans, people who maybe know every song, might learn about Aretha and that connection to the people here in the city or to the city itself through the exhibit?
Well, I can tell you, I'm a big Aretha fan too, but I didn't know her personally. Some of the stories that I get, which actually are reinforced through a lot of the photographs that we have and the memorabilia, is how important relationships were to her. And you really see that in basically in every photograph. There's something that comes out about the relationship with that individual or her relationship with her family. Just a very personable and relationship-focused lady.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, the connection to the Wright. I think there's something almost magical about the idea of Aretha Franklin and the Wright partnered first for her viewing, but now for this exhibit, given the importance of both institutions to Detroit.
Yes, well, thank you for that. I mean, the museum really is about the the celebration of history and culture, and Aretha was big in both of those, and so we're really delighted that we have the opportunity to help cover her legacy. And as you mentioned earlier, we are starting with this Think exhibit, but the plans are for a longer-term exhibit to open in sometime in late 19 or 20. And during the period of this exhibit, we're going to be bringing a lot of different changes and looks, and have it be quite dynamic, because that's a bit of who Aretha was, right? She always
the red shoes, the red dress.
She always had something more coming next. And speaking with one of the family members, they said she was always working.
Yes.
To stay relevant, and that means change and evolving, and so that's one of the things we're going to make sure is part of this exhibit.
Yeah. Let's talk just a little about this era for the museum. There's a little bit of transition happening there. That's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing, and we're hopeful, of course, that that works out. But talk about the things that you guys are looking for in the next leader there.
Well, you're right. Change can be good if you embrace it, and it's an opportunity to reflect, but also to look at what is required to not only survive, but to thrive. And what I will tell you is that the board is fully engaged in this process. We remain very committed to the mission and vision of the Charles H. Wright Museum and of Dr. Wright. We will continue with educating and providing information about the African American experience. That's what we do. That's our core. But as we were discussing earlier, there are a number of challenges and opportunities. The landscape is changing. There are a number of new institutions who are popping up. So in the business world where I come from, the competitive set is changing. The way that millennials want to receive information is changing.
Really different.
So making sure that we find someone who can help us chart those waters, to help us continue to frame our space and what we do and what we provide, but also be able to take our product, which is our exhibits and our programming, to the next level. And so that's going to be very important.
Well, this exhibit is a good start in that direction, right?
Well, the exhibit's a good start, you know, and in any business, you have your core product, right? And so for the Charles Wright Museum, ours is the central exhibit, And Still We Rise, which is about the African and African American experience all the way through bondage and freedom, and even to modern day. It's an incredible exhibit. But you need something new and fresh to bring
jumpstart that,
bring people in, so that you can make sure they're connecting with that, but showing them what the future can be. And I think this exhibit is very key in that.
Okay. Well, congratulations on the exhibit, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.